Hey, Eric, round two.
Round two.
Here we go, buddy. Well, we'll start off. Why don't you go ahead and start the video by just sharing your name. It can be your nickname, your full name, your legal name, your alias.
Okay. My name is Erick Pineda.
Wonderful. Thank you for starting. Well, first, thank you again for being here today and just taking the time out of your day to talk with me and just tell me a little bit more about your story.
Of course.
I know that we've known each other for over 10 years now. Going on 20, I think.
Going on 20.
Yeah.
Because 2006?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, isn't that wild? I just was sorry now.
No, we're so closer to 20 than we are to 10. Like,
dang. Time flew by.
I know.
All right. Well, to start off, I mean, we started there actually. Just our first really encounter was when we were in 6th grade with Miss Yoon.
Miss Yoon.
Yeah, were you always in Gate?
No, I moved to Stoddard, which is an elementary school, 3rd grade.
Okay.
In the middle of the year. And then for 4th grade, I had missed the Gate tests. So I wasn't in it 4th grade. But then 5th and 6th I was.
Oh, okay, for sure. So yeah, because I went in there in 6th, and when I went in there, everyone kind of knew each other already. So I was like,
yeah,
I'm that kid.
You were, but also not for very long.
No, I think everyone was pretty welcoming.
Yeah, and especially just because it was 6th grade and we were going into middle school.
Yeah,
we had so many more new faces.
Yeah,
like almost immediately. Have you seen all those memes about gay kids?
No.
About how it's like for like kids with ADHD.
It makes sense though.
It was actually a way for kids who like were too hyper focused and were, who wouldn't go at a normal pace. Like, let's put you guys in a different class.
I mean, look at us now.
I know.
It makes complete sense.
Like, you're still super overproductive.
Yeah.
Other people are burnt out.
Yeah.
And it's very much like was coded for, oh, you guys are special, but like in a different way.
It makes sense. I mean, even to this day, the people I still follow on Instagram, like they're still very active in their communities and what they do. That's so funny. I do want to start from the beginning though, before we were even born.
Okay.
Do you mind sharing your parents' names?
Yeah. So my mom is Maria, and my dad is Abelino.
Abelino with the B or a V?
B.
Oh, okay, cool.
Abelino. So Abe.
Nice. How familiar are you with like your family's history?
Honestly, it only, as much as I know, only goes back to, I would say, my dad's maternal grandfather.
Okay.
That's as much as I know about our history. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because your dad was first generation, right?
He immigrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
How familiar are you with your dad's maternal grandfather?
Not very, because he passed away in 2019. Okay. But I know that he was like 102, 101. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But he was very sickly, being that age. He was taken care of by a lot of my grandmother's sisters. So my grand aunts. And yeah, I didn't really speak to him because he wasn't very verbal. The one time I did meet him. And then, yeah, passed away 2019.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
He was old. He lived a long life.
109. Was he from the States or?
No, 101, 102.
101? Okay.
Yeah. No, he was in Mexico.
Okay. Which part of Mexico is your family from?
So we're from Guerrero.
Okay.
Yeah, both sides of my family are. My parents actually grew up in pueblos that were, I want to say like 30 minutes away from each other. But they didn't meet until they were here.
How does that happen?
I know. Well, my parents also immigrated really young.
Okay. How young?
They were like 14. So they met in high school here. Like they went to Valencia High School.
Oh, up the road.
Yeah, up the road. So that's where they met.
Okay. Did they know each other? Did they know that when they met here, they were from the same area in Mexico?
I'm sure they did. Okay. And especially, I think at some of our parties, there was some crossover with people that they knew. Not necessarily like family crossover, but just like, oh, you're like part of our community. Like, oh, like we've seen you, like we know your family type stuff.
Gotcha. Why'd your family choose to come to like Placentia area?
Don't know. Well, my grandpa, my paternal grandfather, he immigrated first. Well, actually, I guess. Well, let's start there. Yeah, let's start with my paternal grandfather. He immigrated, and he just landed here, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know what made him stay here necessarily. Probably because we had other family. From, like, my grandmother's brother was also in the area. So I think that's probably why he landed in this place. And then, yeah, so he first had his first apartment in Placencia, which is then when my dad came over, stayed with him, went to high school there. And for my mom, I guess both my parents didn't really have a choice. This is just where family was, right? For my mom, a lot of her brothers and sisters also chose Anaheim. Like, do you know where Park Lane is?
Yeah.
On the other side of like the 91 from you. It's like, like that's where we grew up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the elementary school that's down the road, that's where I went to elementary school.
The
Rio
one
Vista.
here?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So when you sent me your address, I was like, oh, that's my old hood.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
That's what a small world.
Yeah.
Dang. So what were your kind of throwing a question for your grandpa? What were your grandparents' names on your dad's side?
On my dad's side, we have Leonarda and Aurelio.
Okay. That was your dad's parents.
Yes.
Okay. How familiar are you with like their stories about how they met?
Not very. I think it was just like a pueblo romance. They just like knew each other. I don't know. Yeah. Not very familiar. They just were neighbors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The same little town.
Or like neighbors-ish, you know, like in the same little town, in the same little area of that town.
Dang, dude, sick. Did you ever have a chance to visit your grandpa's like home back in Mexico?
Yeah. I went in 2017, 2018 with family. So we were out there. We got to see it. But my dad actually like rebuilt it, so it's completely different now. Okay. And for my mom's family, we also got to check that out. My maternal grandfather, well, that side of the family, like they're up in like the hills. Like it's super rural, just like in the middle of their own like cornfields, and I'm like, oh, cool. cool. But my mom's like childhood home is no longer there. Like it's old and broken down. But my grandpa has like his own little like 1-bedroom place that he rebuilt for himself.
Okay. Did you go a lot back home when you were growing up, or to like Mexico?
No, 2018 was the first time I went.
Really? How was that for you?
Yeah, so that was cool. It was a bit of a roller coaster because my brother and my sister-in-law were pregnant with their first baby. So the journey didn't do them well. Like she got sick, so they came back before we even made it to the destination because they were like worried. And it's like, yeah, it's your first baby. Like, take care of yourself. And then for the most part, it was cool in the sense that like, oh, we're back. You know, like we've never been here. Got to meet a lot of family that I have met for the first time, and I probably I couldn't tell you their names.
Oh, it gets hard.
You know,
see how it goes.
It's very much like there's a lot of you, and I'm seeing you for like 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna peace out. You know, but it was cool because we did my parents' places. We stayed at my dad's childhood home. We were there for maybe 3 days. My mom's childhood home, we were there for just a day trip because again, it's like up in the hills. There's nothing there. We didn't stay the night. And then we were in Mexico City for 2 days, I think.
Okay, nice. So that was like a really fast trip.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you gone back since?
Not to my grandparents' place, but I've been back to Mexico for work and for pleasure. So.
Animal. We'll get back to that topic later. Okay, that's cool though. How many siblings or how many kids did your grandparents on both sides have?
Oh, that is a great question. Because I've asked my parents so many times that I'm just like, oh, I always forget. No, but I think my dad's family is a lot smaller. I think total there's 5. And the 6th, the eldest daughter, I think she passed away young. Yeah, so I never got to meet her. Yeah, so 5, and then on my mom's side, girl, I want to say 13.
Okay. Solid number.
Yeah.
So you have 18 aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
Dang. Impressive.
It's a big family.
Have you had a chance to meet all of them?
Technically, yes.
Okay.
Some of them when I was really young. That I don't, because some of them do live in Texas. I think 3 or 4 of them live in Texas now that I don't see and I haven't seen since I was like probably 8. You know, so.
Okay. So you have 18 aunts and uncles. I'm scared to ask, but how many kids do you have? How many cousins do you have?
Like first cousins, upwards of 30, I think.
Okay.
Maybe 40-ish. Yeah. Because I definitely have at least 3 aunts who have 5 kids. So that's 15 already.
Solid. Love that.
You know, so...
Keeping a search up your life.
Yeah. And it's so interesting, too, because out of 18... Yeah, okay, so out of my dad's side, we only share Pineda, like our last name, with one cousin.
Why is that?
Because my dad only has one brother.
Oh.
And that brother had multiple kids, but out of the multiple kids, only one of them has...
One son?
No, only one. Oh, actually, she doesn't even have that last name anymore. She got married.
Oh. So it's just you and your brother now?
It's just me and my brother and my youngest sibling.
Okay.
But my brother is the only one who's probably going to carry on our last name. Because I don't think I'm going to have kids. I don't think my youngest sibling wants to have kids. Luckily, he had 2 boys, so there's 2 more people carrying on the Pineda name, but very scarce.
Dang, dude. That's actually really surprising to hear.
Yeah. And it didn't click until my brother told me. He was like, dude, I'm the only one. And I was like, dude, you are. Like, good for you. Thanks for doing that. Like,
He'll repopulate your clan.
For real. Ooh, and another fun fact about our last name. I remember I was looking at, like, Google Maps of the area that my parents were from. Mm-hmm. And there's a small pueblo in Guerrero that's maybe, like, a couple miles away from where my dad grew up called Pineda Guerrero. Mm-hmm. And I was like, ooh, colonized.
I can't.
Someone sat there and was like, this is not my last name. Like, this is now named after me.
Was Guerrero colonized? Like by the Spanish or by the French?
I mean, just like in Mexico, I'm thinking.
Sure, right.
You know? Has, yeah.
The reason I asked because when I found out recently that I guess our pueblo was colonized by the French.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it was colonized by the French. That's why we have a lot of different ethnicities that are in the area. Like,
wait, how fun?
Huh?
I was like, how fun? Different ethnicities.
It's very different. Yeah, I was very shocked. I thought it was Spanish the whole time. It's very French.
No, I think ours is probably Spanish. I feel like Pineda is a Spanish name. It doesn't sound French, but who knows? Yeah, you're really right.
Pineda.
But a fun fact about our state, necessarily, or like Iguala Guerrero was the first place I think in Mexican history where they sang the national anthem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was like written in our state. And I was like, oh shit.
How'd you learn that?
My dad told me.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I think that's like a point of pride.
Yeah.
You know, when they're kids and they're in school. And it's also called like Iguala de Independencia. Mm-hmm. So I think
it makes sense. It lines up. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Dang. Did you ever learn about like how your grandparents met and how they were just found in love and just made a bunch of kids? Did you have that chance?
Unfortunately not. And to be honest, I don't even know if my dad would know.
Really?
Or my mom. Unfortunately, like my maternal grandmother passed away giving birth to my mother. So we never got that side of the story. And her dad, my mom's dad, is just really old now too.
Well, and what were your grandparents' names on your mom's side?
You know, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know my maternal grandmother's name. I want to say it's my mom's middle name, Ebertina, but that doesn't sound right. And then my grandpa Severino. Yeah. Yeah, because like my mom didn't even know her, so like my mom doesn't necessarily like talk about her, right? So it's a bit of a blind spot.
Interesting.
Yeah, because she didn't know her, you know.
Yeah. That's really sad. Ooh. You're good. Don't worry. You move it around.
Okay.
Since your mom was, I'm assuming, the youngest.
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of a role she had with her siblings? Because the youngest at 13, it's a really big like.
Yeah, unfortunately, she was like tossed around a lot. Because my grandfather is a drunk and like a womanizer. You know, love him though. So he was just like out and about, didn't really have time to care for a youngest daughter. But one of my tias, my tia Maribel, she kind of took on the role of caring for my mom. My mom calls her mom. So they have that relationship. And between my tia Maribel, who is I think the second eldest daughter. Yeah, because we have my tia Socorro, and I think next is my tia Maribel in terms of women in the family. Oh my god, are there only 3 girls? 3 girls and 10 boys.
Dang. It's a whole soccer team.
Wait. Yeah. Whoa, I never made that realization.
So 2 eldest women.
But no, they're not back to back. There's like some men up there before my tia Maribel, but between my tia Maribel and my mom, there is at least 5 or 6 boys. So,
what's the age gap, by the way, for that? Like your best guess.
My tia Maribel turned, I want to say 60, like 3 years ago. So probably like a 15-year age gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's solid. Dang. How'd your mom, like, what was it like for her growing up with literally 12 siblings?
No, it's so, I don't know. I think it was tough because not a lot of them were there. A lot of the older men immigrated here first.
Okay.
So again, this is why they like landed where they did, because there was already family here. I know that she spent a lot of time growing up in her grandmother's house. And she did not like that woman. That woman did not like my mom. So we also don't talk about her because I don't think there's necessarily like good memories attached there. So yeah.
Okay.
But I will say, like, at least the younger set of brothers that I would say like are in between my tia Maribel and my mom, that was kind of like the core family group that I grew up with. A lot of the older uncles are the uncles that I haven't seen since I was like 8.
I guess are they the ones in Texas?
Some of them.
Okay.
And I think there might be one still in Mexico. 2 in Mexico.
It sounds like the majority of your family that was in Mexico all immigrated to the States. Like on both sides of your parents.
Wait, one more time?
Sounds like the majority of your family on both sides of your parents, they all immigrated to the States.
Yeah, a majority. I would say because in like our prime time of like everyone was here, on my dad's side there was only one sister who wasn't in the US. And on my mom's side, I think it was just a sister and a brother.
Okay.
Yeah, so a majority were here.
Was it a big culture shock when you went back to Mexico for the first time?
You know, not necessarily. Yeah, I don't think I was super surprised by anything or put off by anything necessarily. I think it's because I was around family the entire time and I didn't interact with anyone who wasn't somehow related to me, that it was okay. I was like, oh, yeah. I guess the only culture shock was when we went to go see my mom's childhood home, because like I said, like that was in the hills, and the way we got onto like this pickup truck like in the back that was super dangerous. And we were just like literally scaling a side of a mountain in like this pickup truck, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing right now?
Yeah.
I was like, there's not even a path really. Like what? And then you get up there and like there's a whole little village up here. I'm like, damn, y'all really made it work.
One of my favorite stories whenever I ask people like they're from small pueblos, because we grew up in a small one as well. We didn't have like running water or a way to heat up water.
Oh yeah, same.
Did your family have like the spiral cord that you would plug into the wall to put into the water to heat it up?
No.
How'd you?
No, ours was like straight on the comal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you just heat it up straight on the comal, and then you would like bucket it into like whatever you needed to use it in, whether it be like a cooking pot or like your shower pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we would have like a giant like 20 gallon bucket, probably more actually. Like those red buckets you see like at Costco, and you would get a little cord like spiral, and you would plug it into the wall, wait for it to turn red, and
Just
then
like
you
a metal spiral.
Yeah.
Damn.
And you put it in the water.
That can't be safe.
No, and I think back, I'm like, that's basically like electrocuting ourselves. But it worked, and for me, like that was normal growing up.
No, that makes sense. Like I see that, and I guess the water I think is such a big culture shock that you don't necessarily think about, because I didn't even think about it first. But you're right, water is such a different thing in Mexico. Yeah. Like there's a man who comes around once a week and sells jugs of water.
Dude, no, how do we catch rainwater?
And you know what? That's what they're doing now, because there's like no water in Mexico.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
One of my favorite stories. One of my cousins. So this was like the first time we went back to Mexico. He knew he had to take a bath in like those giant buckets, and it's like, have you seen Breaking Bad?
No.
Anyways, so like those giant blue buckets are like about 4 feet tall and like maybe a foot or 2 in diameter. He knew that he had to take a bath in a bucket, and so he found a giant bucket of water in the kitchen, like in the living room space. And so he's like, oh, this is where I have to take my bath. And so he plugs the spiral into the wall and then puts it into the thing, and nobody's there like to see it. And so he heats it up. It gets like a solid like warm, lukewarm temperature water. He takes the thing out. He jumps inside of it and starts like bathing himself.
Like in the living room?
It's like there's like a door so you can lock it.
Okay.
And so the one of my uncles, he was like, yeah, I'm like scrubbing myself, and then I just hear my uncle just start berating me, and I was like, I'm in the bathroom, I'm taking a bath, and he's like, you're in our drinking water. Because they only had one bucket of water for the entire family. And he didn't realize like he's taking a bath in their drinking water.
Tough.
And it was the funniest thing ever. I was cracking up because he's like, he didn't know.
Right.
It was a big culture shock.
Yeah. That is the biggest thing, I think. Because everyone's also like, don't drink the water.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I feel that. I think it sounds like your family brought the culture with them over here, and so it wasn't that big of a culture shock when you went back to Mexico.
I guess. I don't know. Like, what would you... I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
It's up in the air 'cause you have to figure out, like... I mean, defining what culture is so difficult.
Is there anything... Because really, when you said that, the only thing that I was like, oh, surrounded by family, like, all the time? Yeah, that's what we were doing when we were little. Like, that was the culture.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything specifically... Because also when people think of culture, they might think of like something historical or something performative. But like we didn't really like engage in culture that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like we wouldn't even do anything for like Mexican Independence Day, which like now I see like everyone's doing something for it, and I'm like, we never did anything. It's so interesting.
Well, I think that is.
Well, okay, if I really had to think about it, I think it's because my parents came over young.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's because they didn't know what they were doing. Because if you think about it, they were 22 with 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
You know, and like a 22-year-old, we're just trying to survive. You know, we have a family of 4. We don't really have time to like engage in cultural practices. So just go hang out with your cousins.
Go figure it out. Yeah. That's very funny. Going back to your parents, so they met here in high school. They met like at a party or something. Did you ever ask how they met?
My dad was technically a year older than my mom, but I think it's because, just the immigrants all hung out together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just like met. They were like friends of friends.
Okay. Who was the first that made the first move?
I think my mom made the first move, but my dad wasn't interested. And then it was after my dad had graduated and my mom was a senior that they like hooked up and got pregnant with me.
They hit it off. Oh, so your mom was pregnant with you in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Because so I'm a November baby. So she was pregnant like, is that May?
Like the summer prior? Or like, yeah, May basically.
Yeah. So...
No, it's February,
March, April. Yeah, so like her last semester of high school, she was pregnant.
Oh, okay. Dang. That must have been fun for your parents just to like graduate and finish that stress and now have a full baby. Dang.
Yeah, tough.
Did your parents ever say like what kind of baby you were? If you were easy, calm, or just wild and out like you are now?
I think I was a chillon. Like I think I cried a lot. But... also because I was the first baby, they had a lot of help with me. My dad's younger sister had recently immigrated as well, so that they took care of me a lot in my first years. And my grandma, my paternal grandmother, was also like very hands-on with me.
Were you guys close growing up?
My paternal grandmother? Yeah.
Thank you. So your parents have you, and then did they live in the same area or like the same house, or how was it for them growing up?
When they were pregnant with me? Oh yeah, my mom moved in with my dad and my grandmother. I think, yes, before we got our own place. Actually, were they living by themselves? I want to say their first apartment together was my parents, my grandmother, my grandpa, my paternal grandparents, and my dad's younger sister. I want to say that's who they were living with first.
Okay.
Yeah, once I was born.
What kind of like jobs did your parents do while they were trying to like maintain themselves?
Yeah, so my dad, he worked at the combination Pizza Hut Taco Bell.
Okay.
Yeah. So he worked at one of those. And my mom has such an interesting job that I don't necessarily know what she does, because she works with hardware, like computer pieces, like the actual hardware, and she like quality controls. And it sounds
interesting,
but like not quality controls in terms of like function, but more in like presentation. Like she just makes sure that everything's clean and everything that's there is supposed to be there. Yeah, so I'm just like, how did you start doing that? She knew someone. And I remember when I would go to like her job when I was little, she would just have like pieces of like a computer, and she would just be cleaning the edges and like scraping all the things that weren't supposed to be there. And I was like,
that's pretty cool.
I was like, how did you start doing this?
How did you start doing it?
No, literally because I think she knew a friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This was like what, in the 90s?
Yeah.
Dang, that's what's really like at the very beginning when computers started.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
So your dad was working like in hospitality, and your mom was working in tech.
Yeah.
Dang. and they had a baby.
Yeah, and then they had a baby. Well, they had a baby before they got their jobs. Because my mom, before she got pregnant with me, I think she was babysitting.
Okay. How long were your parents, I guess, taking care of you before they went back to work? Or were they going to work while they were taking care of you?
I think they were probably working, just because, again, my tia and my grandma were there.
So that's support. Heck yeah, that's awesome. Dang, so they had you, were working, living the best lives. Do you know what some of their hobbies were growing up, or when they were having you?
No. Because, again, they were trying to survive.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah. I think hobbies, I'm trying to think. Go to the park with their kids.
What about before that?
Because like I can't. I remember my mom was gonna go see Selena, and then she died.
Was murdered.
Yeah, she was murdered. She had tickets, so I know she liked music like that. So. My dad used to play handball at the park.
Oh, no way.
You know the handball with like the little blue ball?
Blue ball, yeah.
My dad loved doing that shit, actually. That just came back to me. My dad used to do that all the time.
It's a really fun sport.
You play?
Yeah, I used to play a lot more growing up.
Okay, yeah. He used to do that a lot. We used to go to the park, and he would go play for a couple, and we would just watch. See, did my mom have any other hobbies? Not that I can remember right now.
No worries. Did you ever ask him like what kind of things they did growing up in Mexico?
My dad was in band. He played the drums.
Nice.
My mom, truly, when I asked my mom about like her childhood, she was like, I was just trying to get out. And I'm like, you know what? Good for you, girl. Like, because I don't even know if she's ever like mentioned friends growing up that she can recall either. And I remember I had asked her, I was like, what made you want to immigrate? She's like, I didn't want to end up with like some worthless drunk person from my pueblo. And I was like, well, good for you, girl.
Facts. That's so sad though that she like had that, like that was reality.
Yeah, girl. Because again, she didn't have like mom, so she didn't really have someone who could like help her, I think, really dream bigger than that. She just saw what was happening around her. She was like, I don't want this.
Dang. Well, I'm happy they were able to get out and just be where they are now, because they've established themselves really well.
Yeah.
So they have you, they're doing their job, they're just trying to survive, and then they have their next child.
Yeah.
Fernando,
yeah. Nandito.
How is it? Do you remember when they first told you you're gonna be a brother? No.
See, and this is where I think we're gonna have a lot of like hiccups, because I can't recall like a lot of things from my childhood.
Okay.
Self-diagnosed depression. I don't know.
Preach, dude.
Because honestly, like, it's so impressive for me when people can recall their childhoods, and I'm like, girl, I feel like I have a blank spot until like at least 15.
High school.
Yeah. Little things I can pick up from like middle school, of course, like interactions, significant events. But a lot of things, I'm just like, did that happen?
Yeah.
I don't really know. So, yeah. So those early years of me and my brother, no, I have no recollection of them. There is a story that my parents like to tell us that like me and my brother were playing in so if you think of like an under building garage, you know how like there's like a ramp that would go down into the garage.
Yeah.
So we were like running up and down that, and then for some reason, a couple moments later, I like lose my brother, and my mom would tell me, she's like, "Oh yeah, you really came back crying. You like didn't know where your brother went." And then my brother was like at home in the tent, like we had a little like play tent, and he was asleep in there. And I was like, how did that happen? But that is a story that they tell about when we were like little. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys, so you don't have many memories of you two growing up, but it sounds like you two were very close from that story.
Yeah, I mean, we are only 3 years apart.
Yeah.
So we grew up together, you know? And we weren't necessarily the most outgoing kids in our family. So at parties, it was like me and him, you know?
Gotcha. Do you have like a favorite story of him? Like either from when you were kids or just growing up?
The first one that comes to mind, it's like kind of sad.
Oh, let's hear it.
It's sad, more for him. No, it's sad for both of us, but it's like, I remember my parents told me that when I moved out for college, he like woke up in the middle of the night crying because he was like, oh my God, he's really gone. Yeah, girl. Like, that's so sad. It's so cute though. Like, I love my little brother. My brother is so emotional. Like, he is one of the most emotional people in my life. And I'm like, girl, it's okay. Cry.
Damn. Oh my God.
And I say like, that's like from like our childhood, but he was what? 15?
Yeah,
14.
No, 14, yeah.
It's like 14 when that happened.
That's so sweet. Oh my God. Dang.
He's a little emotional kid.
I remember when I first met him, like when we were in, because he was in, I think, 3rd grade when we were obviously, no, 2nd grade maybe? Third grade, yeah. I remember, like, yeah, this is my brother. And I'm like, you two look like twins. He's just smaller.
Yeah. It's so interesting because I feel like we look nothing alike now.
Oh yeah, you have a beard, you have curls, yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Remember when we grew up, you both, and we also wore uniform, so we looked exactly the same.
That's true.
Do you have a lot of sorry.
No, I'm just trying to think of like a happier memory that I might have.
That's a cute story.
It is. And it's interesting because also like I wasn't even there. I was already at college, you know, but it's just like, oh, that's like a memory of like, I could just like imagine my brother like crying.
I'm
like,
dead.
Chion.
Do you have a happy memory of him? Or one that you want to share that's really happy?
Unfortunately, in a lot of my memories, he is crying.
You just feed off his sadness.
No, it's just that he was sad a lot.
Oh. God dang it.
Hi. We'll come back.
No worries. We'll come back to that one. No worries. What about your parents? What's one of your like favorite memories specifically about your dad?
About my dad. This is gonna take a while.
Okay, take your time.
Let me see. Do I have a happy memory? One thing that I really liked growing up is when he would take us to Fry's Electronics. That was just like a really fun thing to do. Because my dad, he's a very like tech savvy person. Well, I don't want to say tech savvy. He's very much like, I want the newest thing. Like, what is happening in the tech world? Like, let me figure that out. So think late 90s, early 2000s, like Fry's Electronics was the place to be.
Yeah.
So just like going on those on those trips would be nice because we would just be running around this big store and like playing with these toys. So I really enjoyed that. And then also when he would bring back food from work, because we would get like the personal pizzas from Pizza Hut when we were young. Yeah.
One of my favorite stories that you told me when we were, I think in high school, we were graduating. You said that when your dad graduated high school, he told his parents he was gonna go up to Sergio's room and just drink with his friends.
Oh yeah, that was the one time my dad drank.
Yeah.
My dad doesn't drink. He's starting to drink now, which is so interesting. This girl, he's drinking like Smirnoff Ice and Mike's Hard Lemonade, and I'm like, girl, that's all sugar. What are you doing? Put that down.
It's refreshing.
And it's literally juice. But yeah. So that was like on his graduation night. He drank with his friends. Threw up. I'm probably like, it sounds like he blacked out from the way that he tells that story, and he didn't touch alcohol so he was like what, 19? Fast forward to like 44.
Oh damn! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Dang, is that bad of experience?
Yeah, I know. Right?
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Dang. What about your mom?
My mom. It's like not a happy memory, but it's like a funny one.
Okay.
I remember, so in the apartment where I was, so I want to say this was like their second apartment. Mm-hmm. My brother was already born. Across the street, it's literally it's like on Lincoln and State College.
Yeah.
That plaza that's there.
Yeah.
There used to be a gym there. I don't remember what kind of gym. Maybe it was like a 24-hour fitness. And my mom would go, and she would take us to like the kids' corner. And I remember I was crying, so she had to pick us up. She couldn't even work out.
Oh.
And I remember she was really upset. But like, think about it, I was like, that's so silly. Like, sorry. Hey,
it's still there.
Come pick up your kid. He's crying.
Oh, that's sad. It's kind of cute though.
That's why it's like not necessarily happy, but funny.
Yeah. Was she upset?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Hey.
Because again, like, why are you crying? I'm literally in the same building. She was pissed off. And like, think about it. She was 22, 23.
Yeah.
She was like, God damn, these kids can't be alone for like 5 minutes.
Trying to be in her like best years when you're just out here just dragging her. That's super funny.
Yeah, and also something we would do a lot with my mom. There next to that's where like there used to be like a big 99-cent store there.
There still is.
Didn't close down? Mm-mm. I thought the company closed down.
Oh, maybe it's a new place. It's like a Dollar Tree or something.
Okay. Well, yeah, I remember we would go there, and then that's when we would get like a bunch of like chips in a can. Mm-hmm. You know how they used to be like Doritos and like the Cheeto balls. My mom would always buy us those.
Heck yeah. Mm-hmm. Is that your like guilty pleasure?
Yeah, when we were little. Mm-hmm.
What about now?
I mean, I still buy it. I buy the hot Cheeto balls in the can.
Oh my god.
Because I think you can still get them at Target. So
yeah. Oh, hot Cheetos. Not a fan whatsoever.
Really?
I hate hot Cheetos.
Like ever?
No. I had it once and it's disgusting.
Wow.
I hate spicy chips, yeah.
I did not know that about you.
The only ones that I really like are Takis.
Okay.
But because it's like lemonade flavor.
I mean, as long as you're still getting like your red 40, that's fine.
Yeah, I get them Skittles. Love sweets.
That's so interesting. You don't like a spicy chip. Mm-mm. So at a party, if you're gonna bring chips, what do you bring?
Doritos, Fritos.
Which Doritos? Which Fritos?
Nachos, regular Fritos. No, lemon and lime Fritos. Those are really good.
There's lemon lime Fritos?
They're in Mexico, not here.
Okay, I was gonna say.
They discontinued them because I think health issues.
Okay. The salt content must have been crazy on those.
It was like back in the day. I was like really sad about them.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, Doritos. No, I'm into salt and vinegar now. I love salt and vinegar.
That's so. I can't eat salt and vinegar.
Popcorners.
Popcorners. Okay.
Those are fire. Love those to death.
The white cheddar.
Yeah.
There's also like a spicy chili, sweet chili.
Sea salt is my favorite. Yeah, I'm not a fan for spicy now. I like salsa, just don't like spicy chips.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Like maybe the texture, like crunching and spice, doesn't make sense to me.
Really?
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Like a burrito and spice, all day, every day.
Oh, okay. So you don't like a fresh chili then?
I mean, to eat?
Yeah.
No. Like, okay. I'm gonna suffer. Why would I do it to myself?
I don't know. My mom be like munching on serrano peppers when she eats a meal.
No, I could not.
That's crazy. I don't. It's really impressive when she does it, but I'm like, what are you doing?
Do you want to know a fun fact? You can't actually smell. You can't actually taste spice.
Oh, it's a sensation. You feel
It's
it.
a smell. That's why whenever you get sick, you can't taste spice.
You don't taste spice. You smell it. Oh.
So if you ever like if you smell something spicy, pinch your nose and then bite it, it will be like nothing.
That's so interesting. But then the numbing sensation that some chilies have.
That's real. That fucks you up. That's just a different level of spice.
Because like now I'm thinking of like hot ones, and I'm like, would that work on hot ones then?
Those just like affect your I don't even know what's called, your sensations. I don't know what's called.
Taste buds.
Thank you, taste buds. Your tongue just burns it.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking.
It's like acid, that one.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Fun fact. So then it's first it's you, then Nando, and then you have your youngest sibling.
My youngest sibling, Kaden.
Dang. How's that? Do you remember when they told you you're gonna be an even older brother?
Where were we at a cabin? Oh my god. You know, I do have a like a flash of a memory of being told that they were gonna have another baby. I can't place it though. I don't know exactly where we were. But I do remember them coming home with a baby.
How was that?
It was cute. It was really exciting. I mean, we had seen the baby. We had seen my youngest sibling in the hospital with my mom. But I have like a very clear picture of my dad walking into the house carrying like the baby carrier. I'm like, oh my god, they're home.
What's your age difference again?
12 years.
Oh, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Dang. So you're almost 30, so they're what, 18?
Yeah, they're turning 18 next year.
How does it make you feel to be an adult?
Crazy. It's crazy because I would always talk about that. I'd be like, damn, dude, when you're like 18, I'm going to be 30. And that's crazy. And now I'm like, damn, I'm going to be 30. Like, it's actually happening. Like, bro, we made it.
I love that, though. Do you have a close relationship with them?
Now we do.
Okay.
Because of the 12-year gap, I moved out when they were 5. And I didn't move back in after that. So I missed like their whole childhood. Yeah. You know? Whereas my little brother Fernando was right there with them. So I missed a lot. I mean, we were so close in that like I would see them when I was with family and we had like a good relationship. We were never necessarily distant. But then again, never mind. I was going to say something, but thinking about it, I don't think that makes sense. So once they turned 13, 12, how old were they? 2018. How long ago was that? 6 years?
6 years ago, yeah.
6 years, so they were 9? No, hold on. Whoa, my math is off. 8.
12.
12?
6 years ago? They're turning 18 now.
They're turning 17.
Oh, so they're 11.
11.
Yeah.
Oh, they weren't that young. Whoa. Hold on, then it wasn't 20. It was probably 2020, 2021. I don't know. When they came out. Or even a little bit before that. They were like really into anime. And then I was like, oh, I can connect on you with this. You know, like I can talk anime. But they were into like gory horror anime.
Oh, okay.
At a very young age. Like at 10, 11.
Yeah.
And I was like, can we talk about something like this? That's kind of intense, bro. So we connected on that. But I think once they came out to me, I came out to them. And I was like, yay, we're gay together.
Super casually.
So we were able to like bond, and like our humor is very similar. A lot of like cultural crossovers. Like we would talk about like Drag Race for a little bit. Like the newest thing being like Heartstopper, just like media in general. Like we were able to consume similar media and enjoy it. Yeah, and then also like once I started making money, I'm like, ooh, what do you like? Let me buy it for you. And then like and I think through that I was able to bond with them a lot more. It's like, oh, let's have a conversation about Minecraft. Let's have a conversation about like your favorite streamers or whatever.
That's super sweet.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say earlier is like we didn't really have a relationship until they were older, but I feel like that happens a lot with siblings because it's like once you're more on a similar intellectual plane as them, you're like, okay, now we can have conversations and like actually get to know each other, as opposed to like being sibling or like being roommates, you know. So but I'm like, that happens with like I think most people. Yeah, you know.
I feel that. Dang. I was gonna ask you, so wait, so you came out to your siblings, it's a couple years ago then, right?
Yes.
Okay. How's that like for you?
It wasn't like anything crazy.
Okay.
I mean, my youngest sibling texted me and my brother and was like, hey, I'm ace by romantic. And I'm like, cool, I'm gay.
High five.
And then with my brother, we've never had a conversation about it, but I don't know. I think my family very falls under still like the lo que se ve no se pregunta, you know? Mm-hmm. But it's not like we're not open about it. Like, I'm very openly queer around my brother. So.
Nice. It's all love. Heck yeah. It was funny. I was going to ask you, do you remember when we were in... What was it? I think it was our senior year. Not senior year. It was my senior year of college. And I was going on my trip to India. And you were there, and I had no recollection of you being there. Yeah.
But we have that picture.
I think it popped up the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this picture. And I was like, I'm not even there. Eyes were like squinting open, and you're like wide awake.
Did I get fucked up there too?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I feel like, because Valerie and I went together. Who drove us?
Ellie. Yeah, I remember because Ellie was there.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Or was it just me and Ellie? Was Valerie there at all?
Wasn't she in New York?
I want to place Valerie there, but maybe it was just me and Ellie. Oh my god, that's so weird. Yeah. Hey,
what a throwback.
We were the party girls.
Still are. So we went to the very beginning. Like, we've known each other since 6th grade, going on 20 years of friendship. I honestly don't know how we lasted for so long. like no shade. I'm like, I think you're my only friend that I still talk to from elementary, like, other than maybe like Randy every now and then. But like, you're like, I have a consistent like checking on you, hanging out, and it's like, I don't know, I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, I'm very grateful to have like such a lasting friendship with someone. I'm like, okay, great. Like, someone doesn't hate me. Like, and you know, I think that does play like such a big role. Like, even though we've gone through different phases of our lives, like, we've still like liked each other enough.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna keep him around.
Yeah, dude.
You know,
from elementary to middle school to high school.
And you moved away.
Yeah.
For a quick sec.
Like 6 months to a year, roughly.
Yeah, you were like in Texas?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was a weird time. I remember when I was there, I would call you, like, hey, how's life?
Yeah.
Like, super randomly.
Yeah. And also, I think with like the different phases of our lives, we also just shared very similar interests.
Yeah.
You know, like being in ASB together put us in proximity, then joining fraternities, being the people that we are, like being in leadership positions, we could relate on that too. Yeah.
One of my favorite memories was, when was it? I think either you called me or we were texting, and you're like, hey, do you want to help plan the 10-year reunion? And I was like, I was literally just thinking about that the other day. And you're like, why are we like this?
Literally like 2 years before.
Dude, yes. We should probably play it now. And we did. It was so much fun.
And it was a great thing.
We had like 40 people there.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Great time.
I still have a bunch of mugs too. Actually, I have your mugs. Do I still have your mugs?
No, I have. You dropped them off at my place.
I have so many mugs. I have like 5 more mugs.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No. Yeah. Just, I think our similar interests. We're similar people in one way or another.
Yeah.
You know?
When you were in 6th grade, do you remember who your closest friends were?
Probably like Serene and Valerie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still connected with them at all, or?
Yeah, like Serena and I had a bit of like a rough patch. We had a bit of a falling out during undergrad. Because I like didn't talk to anyone. You know, like I don't even know how you and I started talking again during undergrad, because once I left Anaheim, I was like, I left. Yeah. And I only went 20 minutes down the freeway. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that was like far enough.
Yeah.
And I would only be home when they kicked me out of the dorms first year, which was at the end of every quarter, because it was like, okay, you can't be here. And I was like, well, fuck, I guess I gotta go home. Those are the only times I went home. And I think it also helped, or not helped necessarily, but like another thing that added to that is that from our high school, there were 23 kids at UCI.
I was gonna ask you, like, how are you like away, but they sound like a big community there?
Yeah, so I think that's why I was like, oh no, I still see people, like, you know,
fair,
just kind of like, I don't have to like, and because of all of them, they were still very connected to like Caleb and Irwin and Parth. So like, oh, okay, so like I'm gonna see them too. But yeah, like I remember one time, I want to say this was freshman year, I was at Downtown Disney for like an event with one of the clubs I was in, and I ran into Serene, and I want to say his name was Wyatt. It's like a white little boy who's like always around. He's in band too. And Serene was like in shock that she had seen me, and she started crying.
Oh.
Yeah, in the middle of Downtown Disney. And I was like, oh my God, because I was literally 18. What was I doing? And I was like, my friend's crying, but also my ride is leaving. Like, I'm so sorry, girl. Like, I gotta go. Like, but oh my God, are you okay? I don't know how to fix this right now. And I think after that, there was a bit of like just disconnect in our friendship, because also I think realistically, I didn't value the friendship as much as I should have in that time, because I was kind of in this frame of mind of like, oh, that was a great relationship that I had, but now we're not there anymore, you know? But I should have like still maintained that relationship better than I did. But I also like want to show myself a little grace that I was 18, 19, 20 and I was like unaware, you know?
No, I can relate to that for sure. I think I had that same mindset where like friendships were in my mind temporary. Like in that phase, and then once that phase ends, we move on. And I know that I hurt a lot of people that were in my life because I lost a lot of connections. And I've been trying to be a lot better about it now by just checking in. I'm like, hey dude, thinking about you. Because yeah, like my closest friends were like you in elementary, and then Jennifer de la Cruz. Like we were really close in elementary school, and then middle school hit, and then things changed obviously.
Yeah. And I also think my perspective a lot on it was that the friendship wasn't necessarily over. It was just like not
Progressing?
Not progressing. It was still there. I just what am I trying to say? I think what I was thinking is that like, oh yeah, we're still friends. I don't see you all the time, but we're still friends. Like there's still love there. But what I've learned is that Serene, I think in that time, could have changed now, but I think in that time needed more of like a reassurance and more constant contact, where I didn't need that, where I was like, no, I love all those people. Like those people are great. I don't hate them. We're not friends, but I'm just like not seeing them right now. Yeah. Because of my life in Irvine, you know?
It's like you're at your dinner table and Serene was there, but she had to step away, and now you're filling in those seats with like new people at the moment.
Right. But she always will have a seat if she wants to come back. And I think that's why our relationship also worked, because we both were like, yeah, we still fuck with each other, even though like we haven't seen each other in like 2 years. Yeah. When we started like partying, because I think, is that what, like, that the first time I saw you in person when we were like actively drinking?
Because that was my 4th year in college. I'm pretty sure I saw you sometime before that. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe that was the first time I saw you after a while.
I don't know if it was. I feel like...
When were you president of your fraternity?
It was the end of 3rd year going into 4th year.
That's when I saw you. Because I remember you had just red light somebody. And I know the first time I ever heard someone say, or black line somebody. And you were telling me about it. And you were president. I think that's when we hung out. So it was your 3rd year.
So it like took us a couple years to like reconnect into our university time. But again, it's not that I never thought like, oh, me and Marvin are not friends anymore. It's just like, oh no, we're friends. We're just away right now. And I guess that's what I had, or what I thought I had with Serene, but she took it a lot deeper, and I was like, oh, my bad, bro.
It happens,
like, yeah, you know. But we reconnected. Valerie as well, because me and Valerie were like partying. And I remember when Serene brought up that like, you know, there was like tension and that like I had hurt her and stuff, I was like, why weren't you at our parties? Like, why were Valerie and I partying without you? Like, you lived in Fullerton, like you were at home, like we could have, but why weren't you? And I was just like, that's kind of like fucked up on our part. My bad, bro. Yeah. You know? But yeah, I remember like, Valerie and I feel like I saw a lot of her when she was back to visit, and then when she was back fully, we were out and about. But yeah, and then fast forward a couple years later, I don't know. I think we're all trying to rebuild that friendship. They both invited me to their weddings. I was like, oh, that's really sweet. Like, I appreciate that. And of course I'm going to show up because this is an important day for you. And you're, you know, asking me to be there. Of course I'm going to show up. And I didn't know that Valerie's was just like an elopement dinner. So I was like one of 3 friends.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, oh, thanks, girl. Like, this is so sweet.
Oh, yeah.
And then for Serene's, it was like a bigger thing, but also it was nice because I was also invited to like her bridal shower and stuff. So
yeah.
We're like working on rebuilding.
Nice, I'm glad. Going back to like, I guess, so that was elementary. Middle school, who was like your closest like camaraderie with?
Middle school.
You were very involved in middle school. I remember that.
You think I was involved?
I thought you were involved.
Interesting.
Oh, sports at least, because that was my area as well. Because we were both very involved in sports, and I would always see you at like the different, like volleyball, basketball, cross country.
What sports were you doing? Because we didn't do sports together.
I didn't see not together, but I would be doing like soccer, track, or like they were in season with you.
Gotcha.
It's like I always knew of you, but we didn't really talk that much. Like we were friends, but we wouldn't like hang out.
Yeah, we didn't hang out in middle school, right? We were like in different groups. I think because I was in band.
That's right, you were in band, yeah.
And like band really became like my people because that's where I met Brianna, my prima, and I found out I had a cousin. And I was like, "Hey, girl,
what was that for you?"
I was like, "Who are you?" Because our parents recognized each other at like back to school night, and they're like, "Oh, son primos," and I was like, "Okay,"
casually.
Hey, and she was also playing clarinet, so I was like, "Okay, cool." And then Caleb and Daniel Mai. And then I would say like generally like the volleyball team that we had. So like Richmond, Parth, Caleb. We were like I would always hang out with them like after practice. Caleb was also in band, so we would hang out there. Who else was I like? Serene and Eros. Oh, Pisani.
Oh my god.
Pisani. Oh my god. Yeah. So like all my band kids. Yeah, like Eros, Harry, Serene, Pisani, Caleb. Who else was in there? Was Raphael in middle school? Yeah, Raphael was in there. Do you remember Raphael Nungare? Yeah. I want to say... there's definitely... Oh, Mariana. We're close to Mariana Diaz. Yeah, for the most part, like, that's what...
Yeah, you were very involved in sports and also honors classes, right?
For sports, I was doing volleyball. I did tennis one season.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember that, yeah.
Which I'm playing tennis now actively because I remember my friend was like, "Hey, have you ever played tennis?" I was like, "Girl, one season in middle school." She's like, "Do you want to hit with me?" I'm like, "I will try." But it was there. I was like, "Okay, cool." Tennis, I did cross country a season 2. I think I did that 8th grade year. And then volleyball both years.
Heck yeah. What was your... Did you have a lot of good memories in middle school? Or was it kind of like hit or miss?
Not necessarily bad. Oh, yeah, some good middle school memories. One of them was being in like the music appreciation club. The teachers weren't the best because it was like the choir teacher who was kind of mean, and then our 7th grade English teacher who also wasn't very nice. But they took us to go see West Side Story.
Oh, nice.
And it was like a Fullerton College production.
Dang.
And that kind of changed my life because I was like, oh, I fuck with musicals.
Really?
I was like, this is so fun.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you watch them actively?
Not necessarily like actively because they're also kind of hard to watch in terms of like stage productions that from the past. But I listen to show tunes like all the time. It's kind of like my de-stressor music.
I never would have guessed that. Holy cow!
Like I love show tunes. I love musicals. Like the whole singing and dancing of it. I loved it, and I was like, "This is so cool."
There's why I can't, because I also love musicals.
Oh, we've never talked about that.
No, my grand little took me to watch Hamilton for the first time like 2 years ago.
That's a crazy one to see for your first one.
That was wild. It ruined everything of the musical for me. I go, this is garbage. This is not Hamilton. I get really upset. I'm like, you brought me to this.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, like musicals, and I think from there, it didn't really resurface until college. because in college we had, to fast forward a little and we'll go back, but we had like a Greek thing where we would put on 7-minute musicals. And I did that for 3 years, 3 different musicals. I was like, wow, I love show tunes.
Greek week or what?
It was esque, like adjacent to that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Dang. So you're very involved.
Yeah. And then also one of my favorite memories from middle school was that was the first time I remember like a boy actively checking me out.
Okay, do you know who it was?
Yeah.
You don't have to put on a bus.
Let's not dox them. But I remember it was a kid from Loera. He was in high school.
Okay. How did it make you feel?
I remember I liked it because I did think he was cute, but also I was like, whoa, what's happening right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. We were like in 8th grade. Yeah. Let's see.
You like went to a place.
I was like, wow, I remember feeling.
That. You like started like fluttering a little bit.
Yeah.
Were you really? So you were really involved in band in middle school, but you weren't really involved like ASB in middle school, right?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Where did that transition? Because then going into high school, like, where did that desire to be involved in student government come from?
I don't know.
Okay, just came to you.
Because like, why did I want to be in student government?
So remember we talked about it.
Okay. I think I wanted to be the band representative.
Yeah, I remember you told me that.
Because that's the first position that I had. Because I was like the liaison between choir, theater, band to ASB.
Okay. Was it freshman year or sophomore year?
Sophomore year.
Okay, good. I remember you telling me that one of your goals going into high school was to be band president. Do you remember that?
Not necessarily saying that, but it sounds like something I would say, yes.
Something you said, like, yeah. It's like I had a goal, I want to be band president, and that was my thing. And then you're ASB president, which is the complete, like, just over here.
Yeah.
What made that switch happen for you?
I think I just saw so much more potential, I think, in ASB, and I liked how... Well, no, like, not even let me say that. It's more... Being in band was very consuming at Loera. You know? Where they... I was going to say, like, they are... they are a very prideful band program. There's a lot of history in the Loera band. And I think to be band president or to be like in a position of leadership there, you really had to like dedicate your whole to it, which I could have done and I would have wanted to, but also being the person that I am, it's like I also wanted to do Key Club, I also wanted to do ASB, I also wanted to play volleyball and like do other things, and I was like, oh, well, I don't think I can do that if I'm band president or if like I'm just doing band. So yeah, it was more of like, no, I guess it was more opportunities in the other direction.
Okay. Kind of talking about volleyball, like what made you want to stick to that sport of like all the sports you were playing?
So volleyball, we would play as a family.
Oh, okay.
It was like a family thing on my dad's side. All of my cousins, I had a group of like 3 older girl cousins who played a lot, and they taught me how to play. We would play at like our picnic events and stuff. I was like, oh, this is fun. And then being tall-ish for our age, I was like, oh, okay, I can do this.
Nice.
But it's very apparent, like by the end of it, I was truly the worst player on our team. Like, no athletic prowess at all. But I was like the emotional support player, you know?
That glue guy?
Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah.
I was the one cheering on the sidelines.
Hey, you need them. You need that. You need that for the team.
Yeah.
Like, remember do you remember making it to CAF?
Yes.
How was that experience for you?
It was cool. I think we only made 2. I think we got out in the first round. Yeah. I think so. Second? Maybe the second round. Because I remember...
Didn't you make quarterfinals?
Did we?
I'm pretty sure you guys made quarterfinals. I remember...
That's really impressive that you remember that.
I love high school.
Hey, if you remember that, then maybe we did. Because then we probably played like Calvary Chapel. I remember we always used to play them when we like had first round CIF. Because we played them like at least 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember we went to a place called like Santa Ynez, which is like up in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably, yeah, the third game was probably that home game where that famous actress's son was on the team. Crossroads, I think, was the name of the high school we lost against.
Yeah, because remember you won the first 2 and then you made the quarterfinals, and then they're like, yeah, and that team that you lost to won, and I think ended up winning our division.
Very impressive. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, I think it was Crossroads High School or like Academy, because that lady from Seinfeld, she was in our gym, because her son was on that volleyball team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. But
Yeah.
I feel like I remember that.
That's what I remember.
You're just watching who's in the stands.
I was like, no, because everyone was talking about it. Like, oh, it's like a lady from Seinfeld. I was like, I don't know, but I do recognize her face. Like, I do know she's famous.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad. So do you still play volleyball now or no?
No, I mean, I'll play with like my brother sometimes if we have a ball. We'll like pickle. We'll just like go back and forth. Or pepper. I don't know why I said pickle.
I was about to ask you.
It's definitely pepper. It's definitely pepper, not pickle. Well, Pepper, he tried. I mean, I think he wants to also like show it to his kids. So like at parties, sometimes in the park, we'll have a net up. But they're also like 6 and 3, so a couple more years
Before you know to play for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Dang, Eric. So you were in band, and then we talked briefly about your involvement with ASB. What drove you to be involved with ASB?
Okay, so like I said, I wanted to be like that band representative first. Knowing that was a position, I was like, oh, like what can we do with this? Like, how can we make this better for everyone involved? Because also, I remember band kids did not like ASB kids.
Yeah. It's like a turf thing.
I guess. But they didn't like us, and I was like, okay, let me go see what it's about. Like, why don't we like them? Kind of thing. And then being an ASB, I was like, girl, this is a lot of fun. Why are you guys complaining? And I think also what helped for us were the group of seniors that we had. Mm-hmm. Like, we had a good group of seniors, and I think it also made me want to like stay. Because is that when Amy was a senior? Was Amy a junior at Vanuga Paul?
She was a senior.
With like Amanda
Jones, Lucas Malone, Muriel, Aharo.
Muriel. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Tao.
Yeah.
Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I loved those girls.
Mm-hmm.
And they just made me feel so cool. So I was like, let me stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and why else did I want to stay in ASB? I don't know. I just liked how much fun we were having. I liked the work that we were doing, and I was like, oh, give me more work. Mm-hmm. You know, I liked the idea of being ICC. That's why I ran for that. You know, looking over the clubs and stuff. I remember, like, I was like, I want to make school fun. So we stayed in ASB. And it was fun.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
Grand old time.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I do remember you being really, really involved with was Key Club. Like, you were like die hard Key Club.
Key Club was my thing, dude. It was crazy.
What happened? Did you stay involved after you graduated?
No, because then I got kind of weird in college.
What do you mean?
Okay. Yeah, so super involved in Key Club. And then in college, they have another club. Because, like, we're part of, like, a larger organization, Kiwanis. They have this thing called Circle K, which is a community service club at the college level.
Yeah.
It was kind of like just weird vibes.
It wasn't your thing.
It wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And I tried it for a year when it was super interesting because the family that I was put in, because it was a pretty large club, so they like sectioned you off and you had like seniors who were like looking over a group of underclassmen. And the people in my family then went on to run the organization a couple years later.
Oh.
And everyone in that family who was like my year, we all like were important people on campus. And I was like, I love that I was in the good one. Like, I love that I got the good group. Like, they saw me and they were like, put him there.
That's how it rolls, dude. You get that vibe.
No, and also I remember I wanted to be involved. Like I really wanted to love it because I started getting involved with them the summer before I started first year. Because I was on campus for like a summer bridge program, and I saw their booth, and I was like, oh, hey, Key Club. They're like, oh, cool, come over here. And I was like doing community service with them, and I got to know some folks early, but it wasn't my vibe at the end of it.
What was your title when you were your senior year? Because you were high up there, like governor or something.
Yeah, I was like lieutenant governor.
Okay, casually.
LTG is what we called them.
That's what it was.
But loved my story though, because I wasn't elected LTG. I was appointed LTG because the guy who beat me initially got kicked out. Like, shout out. I'm not gonna dox him. Was a point of tension for a lot of that year, but also like, bro, it was not my fault.
Do you remember when Brian had the video of like them announcing the winners?
No.
Yeah, Brian had a freaking video and they announced it, and I remember him like, I'm sorry to bring this up.
He punched me. No, I was devastated, girl.
I know.
I was devastated. I went home and I cried.
I know. Brian was like super like casual. Yeah, he's like panicking to your face, and I'm like,
that is so funny. I don't think I've ever saw that video.
I'm glad. It was pretty bad.
No, yeah, because it was definitely something that I was like working up to, and like that was the goal from the moment I joined the club, and I knew it was a possibility. But yeah, it was a very interesting term, being appointed.
What was your term like? Because remember you travel a lot.
Yeah, so once a quarter we had, like once every 3 months, all of the LTGs over California, Nevada, and Hawaii like would go to a weekend training. And I think what was difficult there was that because those people we only really saw once every 3 months, they didn't really know who I was. They were like, you weren't here before. I was like, no, yeah, I wasn't. Sorry. I'm new. Or I would be confused. I remember one time, like, shout out to my girl. Love her now. But she confused me with, like, the other chubby brown Mexican boy. And I was like, no, girl, that's not my name. But I appreciate the enthusiasm. And yeah, so that was a little interesting. People were like, kind of like, who is he? Why is he here? Did he kick the other guy out?
Oh, did you do it?
Yeah, they were like, is it his fault that like the guy that we initially bonded with is no longer here? And I was like, not even. I didn't even really know what happened until a lot later. And then for my position, I also oversaw 11 different schools within Anaheim. And that was also a little difficult because the presidents didn't really know what I was there to do because they had again bonded with the other person. But it was also not too difficult because I had known them from my time in the organization, because at the point when you're president, you kind of know people across the other schools as well. So they knew of me, but I don't know, it was kind of tense for a little bit. They were like, what are we doing? I was like, I don't really know either. We're just going to try to make it work as best as we can.
Yeah.
But we tried our best. Because also, like, our area of Key Club wasn't necessarily like a really strong place for Key Club. We had, out of the 10 schools, we had 3 private schools, which were really small clubs, which didn't really add, I guess, to like the enthusiasm of our division compared to like Garden Grove or Fountain Valley. Like, those are really big Key Club places. So in comparison, it was a little discouraging, but we made it work. We still had fun.
Heck yeah, dude. Thanks. Because you were LTG your senior year. You're involved in band very heavily.
Yeah, but I quit band sophomore year.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's right. I remember you told me because you had a conversation with the director.
He cried. Yeah. Did I tell you what he told me?
You made a grown man cry.
Yeah.
You're good?
Yeah, no, I just had a burp.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to do it on the mic. Okay. No, I remember, this will like never leave me, unfortunately. I remember I was having this conversation with him and I was telling him essentially what I told you, that like, I want to do everything else. And if I stay here, I can't do that. And he told me, I said this at ASB camp. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
yeah, I told you.
He's like, you're never going to be happy because of the nature of the beast inside you. Like, you're just never going to be happy. Yeah. And I'm like, damn, girl. Like, you really told a 15-year-old that. Like, that's crazy.
Look, you know, happier than ever.
And then I remember at ASB camp, our director, he was like, oh, I've definitely said that to a student too.
I don't remember that.
I remember him saying that, and I was like, damn, y'all fucked up. Like, these are fucking teenagers. Just let us have fun, girl.
Scarring these kids. Damn.
For real.
Dang, I forgot about that.
Yeah. But also, granted, like, I was spending his money. Like, that band director paid for my lessons. I'm pretty sure it was like $500 that he wasted on me.
Hey, it was an investment.
It was an investment that did not go through. And you know what? Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, he gambled.
Yeah.
To the stock market.
Yeah, it's true.
Living and learning. It's freaking funny. How was it for you, your senior year, and then when you were president of ASB? How was it felt?
That was amazing. I don't know. I loved it. I had a lot of fun.
Nothing else. Move on.
No,
LTG, all of these story.
No, I had a lot of love for like the people that we appointed and like the people that we had in our ASB year.
Elected 5.
Mm-hmm.
What a great name.
Yeah, so me, you, Jaslyn, Kendra,
Krista.
and Krista. Krista was Speaker of the House. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I loved everyone that was in there. And I remember for the most part, like, I was like big picture, you were like details. And that's what we did. One of like the memories that I always remember was like at our banquet, like Mr. C knew that I was going to be late, and like he had you do the Pledge of Allegiance, and he had your name printed underneath it.
Oh, that's right.
I was like, LOL. He already just assumed I was going to be late.
Why did you assume that?
Because I was always late. It's like, fuck, whatever.
My favorite memory was when you were late to our first meeting. Because you overslept, remember?
Oh, yeah. That shit was... No, was that when we were doing interviews?
No, it was...
like during the summer.
Yeah, it was like our very first meeting. Like meeting like the principal and like everyone's first meeting.
I remember being late to interviews.
I remember that.
I remember we were doing interviews for our like year. We had just gotten elected. And I woke up in a panic because I used to do that all the time. Like, shout out anxiety. I woke up in a panic. I remember we were living with my aunt. Like, our aunt had like, it was kind of like a duplex situation that we like cut our house in half. Mm-hmm. But my aunt was there. She was just getting back from dropping off my cousins. And I was like, Pia, can you take me? Like, I'm running late. Like, I'm so scared. Can you just take me, please, please, please? She's like, yeah, come on. Like, I'll take you. And I remember my dad, or like, someone gets a call at the school, and I think it was like Mr. C or Mrs. Stroud. She was like, Eric, the police are looking for you. Because my dad woke up and he was like, where are you? You're not home. And he had like called the police because he thought I was missing. When in reality, I was late to ASB interviews. And I was like, I just had to get there, girl. Like, I'm so sorry, Dad.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
Are you still late to things?
Huh?
Are you still late to things?
No, I have... Shout out anxiety about being late to things, and also transitioning into like public transportation. I always have to plan to be early.
I'm actually really surprised by that. That you like haven't no longer as late as you were back in the day.
Yeah,
especially like, with public transportation.
No, it was so interesting. I can't believe I was like that late of a person. But no, it did carry over into college though. I got fired from my first job for being late.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, shout out Starbucks. Boycott Starbucks. But yeah, I remember I was there. It was my second year, and I was so good at that job too. Fuck, like, because we had opened a new location on campus, and they had like picked me, like, Eric, come over with us. You're gonna train everyone. And so I did, and I had like a 6 a.m. shift. I was like an opening, and I woke up at 9 a.m. girl. Yeah, it was bad. Dang. And it wasn't the first time it had happened. It had happened several times. And she was like the realest manager. She was like, Eric, I think you need to step away from this and make sure that everything else is okay. And I was like, you're right. And I remember I cried. Oh. Yeah, shout out Vicky.
Dang. Were things going okay, or?
Yeah. I was just...
You're not a morning person?
I was just oversleeping.
Yeah, that happens.
I was just like not good at that. But... I was gonna say it never happened again in college, but I was like, no, it's definitely still late in college. It was when I got a job and was like an adult.
Yeah.
That things like straightened out.
I never asked you, like, what made you want to choose UCI?
They gave me the most money.
Oh, okay.
And then also my parents were scared of me going to San Diego State.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Why is that?
Because it was close to the border.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a lot of fear that operated in my household. Like,
that's fair, yeah. Thanks. You got to SDSU as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was between the two schools. And I wanted to go to SDSU because they had a cooler program. It was like international policy and something or other. It's like, that sounds a lot cooler than international studies. But my parents were worried. And I was like, okay. I mean, UCI is giving me more money anyways.
Yeah. How's the experience for you going down there?
TCI?
Yeah.
Loved it.
Okay. End it right there. Next question.
Loved it. I don't know. I just... Because I like in high school, the whole thing was like, let's make school fun. Carry that same mentality into college. I was like, how do I make this fun for me? Let me go find some people that I love. And it did. And it worked out.
Yeah, by your last year, you had been involved with, like, what? You said Circle K, your fraternity, you had a job. Like, what were you doing in college besides that?
So I like to say that my two biggest things were my fraternity and my Filipino cultural club that I was in. So Kaba Bayan, shout out Kaba. Those were the two biggest things that I was in. And for my fraternity, like, I was my pledge class president. I was then secretary, and then I became president. For Kaba, I was like the first year class representative. I then became secretary there, which was kind of controversial because I was a second year being elected as opposed to like having an appointed position. And they're like, why do you think you're good enough to be here? And I'm like, girl, this club's in shambles. Someone needs to pick it up.
I love
that. It was a very divisive time in the organization. It was really interesting. So secretary, and then I became external vice president, which was a very like politically oriented community role. So I was doing that. And then fourth year, I took a step back and was fourth year class representative. I wasn't on the board officially. But those two places, that and my fraternity, they were like community, you know? With the fraternity, my biggest thing was like I wanted someone to like help me. Like I wanted like a big bro. Like that was a thing that was really attractive to me. But then I got like the one big bro that needed to be taken care of, and I was like, it's okay, I love you too. Shout out, love you. But it's okay because like at the end of the day, we were 18, 19.
Yeah,
you know. And then in Kaba really helped in like developing my identity as like a person of color. I tried joining Mecha. I don't know if I ever told you this story. My first Mecha meeting at UCI, it was like a cleansing circle, and I was like, well, this is a lot, girl.
What do you mean
like we were burning sage, and we were going around talking about like what was going on that quarter, and I was like, in hindsight, I'm so happy that they were doing that.
Yeah.
But as an 18-year-old, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, we're doing brujeria in the cross-cultural center? No, but like shout out those girls also. Like Daisy, she was really cool. Like the people who were in charge of Mecha were really nice, and they had always like asked me to come back. But Kaba took up a lot of, because we were the largest cultural club on campus. We had like 250 members. So what was interesting, like when going back to like I say, it helped me develop my identity as a person of color. There was just so much history tied into Kaba at UCI with Filipino cultural classes, and just like Filipino student history was tied into our organization. So looking at that and then thinking about my own experiences being Mexican, I was like, there is a lot of overlap here, and a lot of things and a lot of questions that you guys are asking, I can also be asking in a different way. So that was really helpful. And we centered a lot around like family. That was such a big aspect of our organization as well. So that guidance which is funny because I also didn't get it in college. It was just in a different way. I was going to say like every family that I was in wasn't necessarily the strongest. My mentor also wasn't that good. Shout out, love you. You did what you could, but it was tough. But I don't know, just like the group that we had really clicked. It was very strong all 4 years. We supported people when they chose to like step away from the org and go do other things. yeah, like they're still like my biggest friend group now.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still involved in like alumni?
No, the organization I think has changed a lot, and also it's hard to get to UCI from where I am, you know, without a car.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, not really involved. I would love to go back and speak on like on our alumni panel, but I'll probably do that when like other folks from my class want to go and do that together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It'd be fun.
mm-hmm.
You mentioned it briefly right now. You didn't drive in college at all.
No,
You haven't driven your car since I've known you.
no, I have not.
How have you gone through life without a car?
Well, it's been kind of easy, actually.
For those that don't know, is there like a subway or metro in LA?
Yes, there is.
It's shocking.
There's a subway in Los Angeles. The subway has like, what is it, like gold, blue, purple, red, pink. 7
Oh, wow.
main lines that go through all of LA that stretch from like Long Beach to the Valley, from Santa Monica to El Monte.
Huh.
So it's pretty vast. It's not necessarily the best, but there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's something there. But going back to, I guess, my life and how I've not driven. So I turned 18 in college.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go a little further back. When I was 15 and a half, when you can start taking your classes and stuff, I knew we were too poor for that.
Same. 17 and a half.
So I was like, I know I can't ask my parents because we don't have that money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, you know? And then when you're 17 and a half, 18, that's when you can take your driver's test without having to do the classes, right? Mm-hmm. But by the time I was 17 and a half, I had already moved out for college because I had done the summer program. Mm-hmm. So when I moved out for college, like I said, I never went back home. So I wasn't there. There was no one to teach me how to drive.
Yeah.
And I only went home when I absolutely had to. So my life was at UCI and in the surrounding community. And then second year of college, Uber comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Like Uber launched in 2014.
I forgot about that.
So I was like, oh, cool. It's like $6 to go wherever I need to go.
Easy.
If I want to take a Lyft or like if I want to take an Uber, you know? Mm. So that made the last 3 years of college super easy. Mm-hmm. And then every job I've had, it's been super easy like to get there via bus. So that's been nice. I shouldn't say super easy. There was a point where it was kind of difficult when I lived on the peninsula. But yeah, so college was super easy. And then after I graduated, so now we're at, 2017? Mm-hmm. I got my first job. It's kind of like that fall. So like September 2017. And that job, I was traveling for work. Mm-hmm. And I was out and about, out of state, 2 weeks out of the month. Mm. And work was covering my Ubers and my plane travel.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, if it was work related.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, where else was I going if not work?
Yeah.
So that made that also really easy. And then fast forward, because I had that job up until the pandemic, March 2020. No one was going anywhere anyways. And when my lease that year was running up, I was like, I need to go somewhere where I don't necessarily need a car. Mm. So I moved to LA. And I moved to LA, not saying that it's like perfect in public transportation, but knowing that it was better than here.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I grew up taking the bus in Orange County. Like, I was taking it down to Huntington Beach. I was taking it to, like, Garden Grove, you know? I was out and about on, like, the Octa. Shout out. But I knew that it was better in LA, and I knew that I could find a place where I could, like, potentially walk to work or have that be an option. And I do. Like, now I live in a place where I can walk to work. It's 15 minutes, you know, at any given time. And I live near a subway stop, which takes me downtown if I need to, or it takes me to Hollywood if I need to. And I'm also lucky that I have a lot of friends who've moved out to LA, and everyone's like a 10-minute Uber away. So it's worked out. And like to visit my family using the Amtrak and the Metrolink, 45 minutes, $8. Okay, get me to Anaheim.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm not into that.
Yeah, like if you want to spend a day trip in LA, girl, it's $8, a 40-minute ride, no traffic.
I thought it was a lot longer, honestly.
No, it's just 40 minutes.
Oh, that's really good to know.
Yeah. Love public transportation. Like, I love it so much. I thought about going to school for like urban planning, but like grad school is not going to fix my life, so I throw that away. But it's like, it's something that like resurfaces. I'm like, urban planning, like that would be so, but also cursed. I know. I'm like not trying to do that.
Do you want to go back to school?
No.
Okay. You're done.
No, I am a bad student. Yeah.
I don't see your best. Well, why do you say that?
Because I never prioritized school. When I said I want to make school fun, schoolwork was never at the top of the list or like top 5, you know? I definitely failed classes in college that I shouldn't have failed, that were easy by design. My major was pretty easy and I still had to retake classes. So yeah, not necessarily a good student.
Yeah, you made it work. Yeah, graduated, got your degree.
Yeah.
What's the old saying? C's get degrees.
C's get degrees.
Hey,
that changed my life. That saying changed my life.
I'm freaking dead.
It saved me.
Dang, dude. Who your like? So your closest camaraderies in college were the folks that were in your Filipino club.
Yes, and then like a handful of guys from my fraternity that I still hang out with.
And then you mentioned earlier that you were also close to some of the people that went from high school, from the WERA to UCI.
Yeah. So what was hard about about maintaining those relationships, though, I wouldn't say that they're as close as the other people, just because after first year, a lot of them lived on campus first year, but then started commuting the next 3 years. So I didn't see them as often because I stayed in Irvine. I was like, I'm only going to go back home when I need to. Not very often. Yeah. But still love there. Like I said, like they're just relationships that I don't see all the time.
Okay. Would you ever want to move back to UCI?
To Irvine?
Yeah.
No.
Or Irvine, yeah. Okay. Not your vibe?
It's too suburban. It is like the perfect suburbia. We were the safest city for like 10 years, I think, in the country. It's like, and yeah, no. I don't need to talk shit about it. It's just like, no.
You like LA more?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to move back. I had this, I ran into an old friend from college recently, and he was with one of his friends from college, and we were just chatting it up. He was like, oh yeah, I recently moved back to Irvine. And I looked at him, I was drunk and I felt so bad. I was like, you moved back? But I have to remember that like straight cis people like want a safe community to build a family in, and I'm pretty sure that's why he did that, because he's like with his fiance and we like want to like settle down in Irvine. I'm like, it is a beautiful city to do that, like good for you. But I said it in such a tone. I apologized immediately after. I was like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry I said it that way. But continue.
I love that.
It was so yeah.
Dang, dude, that's super sick. So post college, you talked about your job a little bit. What up to now?
Now in LA, live in Koreatown, have been there for 4 years. I am working for a nonprofit organization called, I actually don't want to dox them, so I'm just working for a nonprofit. It's interesting because my previous role was in tech, and I left that job. Well, got furloughed because of the pandemic, but that job was getting kind of old in that I was teaching older people how to use a computer, it felt like, and I was like, that's not what I want to be doing. But now I'm teaching employees basic work skills. I don't want to say that, not basic, they're just general work skills to be a better employee and stuff like that. So I'm doing that, been doing that for 2.5 years now, and it is a bit tough because my role is in an HR department. So a lot of the times I become the face of HR for a lot of employees because I'm the person that they're seeing. I'm the person who's telling them policies, like what is and what isn't. And they come up with all these questions and I'm like, I'm actually not the person to be asking that, but that is a great question. Okay. You know? So that's been kind of tough. I've also had a crisis about my role in that, like, I'm furthering, like, the capitalist agenda in, like, producing effective employees. And I'm like, fuck. I hate that.
Yeah.
But I've figured that, like, I can also toss in certain things for people. I'll be like, take all your sick days. Take them. You don't have to tell them anything for the first 5 days. Use your time, right? Like, set your boundaries, learn how to say no. I know we're in a nonprofit space, but, like, leave work at work. So I've kind of made peace with that I can still help them create boundaries and not necessarily, like, make work their life. But yeah, I had a little bit of a identity crisis with my career. I was like, whoa, dude.
I feel you on that. I just had one as well. Dude, I'm still going through it.
What was yours?
I had, briefly about me, I guess I had 2 coworkers pass away. Like both. I do both of them.
Pause. From which job? Because
my current job.
Where are you working right now? Okay.
Yeah. So I met both of them when I was a student there, and so, like, now as a full-time employee, like, I've known them for over 10 years.
Oh wow.
And they both passed away suddenly, and it caught me for a loop. I was like, I don't want to be working at a job.
Oh my god. And
then pass away.
That's so scary.
Yeah, dude. Like, that's one of my biggest fears now. And, like, at that time when it happened, I was like, Jesus Christ. And then at the same time when that happened, because they passed away within, like, about 3 months of each other.
Whoa.
And then
were they older, or was it like
one was older, one was like early 40 maybe?
Okay.
And then I had an uncle that passed away very, very, like, abruptly. Like, I was at their funeral when I got the message from work that my coworker passed away, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I was telling you earlier, like, our dog passed away, our oldest dog. So I had the funeral Monday.
Life is crazy, dude.
Dude, it was ridiculous. I went to a crisis. Like, straight crisis. My uncle's funeral was Monday. Found out about my coworker that same Monday. Put my dog down on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I was in a panic. Like, I was just not doing well, and I went to work, and they were like, "Oh, if you want to talk to somebody, like, there's somebody here to talk to you." And I couldn't find the person because they were also going through crisis, and we went on break the next day. And so I was, like, at home, like, here by myself, like, just, like, with my thoughts.
Damn.
And so I wasn't able to process everything.
Yeah.
And I had to go. I had to take some time for myself, and fortunately, I had a lot of support from my team, so I felt very, like, grateful for that. But what I discovered was that life is too short. I have to have better boundaries, and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm still trying to really establish, like, you know what, this is what makes me happy. This is what I'm going to keep doing for the rest of my life, and this is where I want my legacy to be with my family, friends, and so forth. But yeah, I mean, I'm still at that place. I'm trying to figure it out. How are you at?
I'm at a place where I don't know if this job is going to make me enough money for what I want to do in my life.
And what's that?
I have enough money to do whatever I want to do in my life. Because right now, girl, it's very paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, I actually can't be living like this. This is kind of ridiculous. And again, capitalism, it's only going to get worse,
especially California,
you know. Yeah, and I don't want to leave either, at least not yet. So yeah, I'm at a place where I'm like, what does that mean for me? What does that mean in terms of, like, gaining new skills or applying to new jobs? And I think it's always, like, a thing in the back of my mind, but, like, everyone else on my team who is in a similar role has a graduate degree and I don't. But I have, like, 10 years of experience now. Like, this is a career that I've built in, like, learning and development. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, but what now? Yep. Because also I know that there's, at least from the way that it's structured right now, there's no growth opportunity in my job because my supervisor has been there for only, like, 5 years. They're also still relatively young. They're good at their job, and they got, like, our team under control, you know? So it's like, okay, I've been here for 2.5 years now. Let's make more money now. Yeah. Do you have, like, a threshold as, like, what you're, like, aiming to, like, make annually? Ideally, I'd be around, for right now, the next jump that I would love to see would be somewhere closer to, like, 110, 115 is what I would love to be making. Yeah. Is that appropriate for the field that I'm in? Probably not. I'd have to find, like, a really, like, and that's another thing, you know, it's like, okay, this job isn't going to make me as much money as I want. Unless it's like in consulting, to be quite honest. And it's like, fuck.
Hey, that would be a lot of freedom.
Yeah, but also I'd probably have to start off with like consulting with a firm, which is not a lot of freedom, which is very much travel every week, see a customer, new project all the time. And I think what's also hard is that my job is so fucking chill. Like, girl, nothing is urgent, nothing is life or death, and that's really nice to have. But it's just like the pay, and I know that it's like not sustainable in the long run. So yeah,
still figuring it out. Like, do I leave? And everyone says like, oh, it's never too late to leave and like change your careers. And it's like, yeah, girl, but like pay cuts are real. Like, to take a pay cut in this economy, be fucking real. Yeah, trying to uproot now would be a challenge. Like, I know it's a lot more prevalent now with this generation of like just traveling around, but it takes time, like, to be able to uproot yourself, find a new career, and then get in that new space where like you build community around you.
Yeah, and then you start spiraling. I'm like, is that just my fear holding me back?
Spiraling right here.
Do you start spiraling? Like, fuck, dude. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to talk to somebody, like some other people that are in like this like age range that may feel similar as well?
No. Because another thing that I've been thinking about recently is like with our friends now at this age, like what does our friendships look like when we're all clearly in different tax brackets? Because I do have friends who are making substantially more money, you know? And I'm like, I'm so happy for you. But like, what does that mean for our friendships and like the relationships that we have?
Yeah.
But then also it's like, I don't want to compare myself to them.
But it's tough.
So it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're at that age. Like, I've been to 5 weddings this year, and I have 2 more this year. And I'm like,
that's exhausting.
Dude, it is, but I love it.
That's a lot, yeah.
But I will say it's very like weird seeing like that we're in this next phase of our lives where we're gonna start seeing friends like getting married, having kids, buying homes,
getting
like
divorced.
We got a few years till that happens, hopefully. Dude, no, funny story. I actually was having a conversation with my old coworker, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm at that age where like all my friends starting to get married. He's in his early 40s. He's like, oh, it's funny, I'm at that age where all my friends are getting married at your age or trying to get divorced. And I was like, that's a thing? He's like, yeah, there's phases for it. And I was like, that's, oh my god.
Yeah, it's tough.
But dude, I'm sorry. I know it's tough to be able to be in this like transition of trying to move to the next phase of your life.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I don't know. Everyone who's like in their 30s says that they love their 30s, and I am deciding I'm gonna love my 30s too. I guess actually now that like I'm saying it in the same way of like, let's make school fun. Let's make our 30s fun.
Yeah,
you know,
next decade easy.
Yeah.
I just realized that we are gonna go through our second phase together, like decades.
Our third decade together.
Third decade, yeah.
Because we met when we were like 11.
Damn. Yeah. Oh, dude, time is baffling.
It's crazy.
But I do want to ask, what are some of your what's your favorite quote of all time?
Fuck. I don't know if it's like all time, but I've definitely had quotes in like phases of my life. I think the current one would probably be I don't know it verbatim, but it's the one that's like, they thought they could bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds.
Dang. That was awesome.
Yeah, I read it. It was like in the dedication to like a book I was reading. I forgot what book it was, but I was like, wow, that's pretty. And then there's another quote from a book called Braiding Sweetgrass, which I recommend highly. The author says something along the lines of like, what was it? Reciprocity is an investment in abundance. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. Yeah, it is. So I think those 2 are like the ones that have like stuck in my mind recently.
Why is that?
Well, the first one it's just like, it's very much about overcoming oppression or like trying your best to blossom in the circumstances that weren't designed for you, right? And I believe that the dedication that it was in a brown queer book. So I was like, oh, yes. And then the second one, it was in a book about like indigenous practices and how its relationship to scientific study. So within the context of that, thinking about indigenous learnings and how they built their relationship of reciprocity with the earth, I was like, yes, we should be taking care of our earth more in like different ways and stuff. And applying that to just everything else, like reciprocity is an investment in abundance. Like if you give back, the universe will give you back more, you know?
I like that a lot. Is there, I love asking this question, but is there a portion of your life where you want your legacy to be remembered for?
A part of my life that I want my legacy to be remembered? I would think right now I'd probably say like my mid to late 20s. I think right now this version of myself I really love, and I love how my friends love me. Because I think a lot of the things that my friends would say about me now is that like Erick is very honest and very upfront, and he like says things that you might not want to hear but are ultimately things we need to hear. But on the same, like on the other side of the coin, like Erick is still like very fun, and Erick loves bringing like people together and, you know, like sharing space and stuff like that and building the community. So like even though I can be like tough, I'm still very loving, and I would hope that that's like the legacy that like I think I would want to leave.
I love that. And you are very loving.
Thanks.
You're very honest as well.
Yeah,
it's a fun time.
Yeah. I'm also trying to make sure, like something that I've been working on like in the last 5 years, is making sure that honesty isn't mean. Because I also heard another quote recently that was like, people who are brutally honest love the brutality as much as they love the honesty.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to be mean, you know? So
yeah. But yeah, how do you find the balance?
It's always, I think what I'm practicing now is like thinking before I speak, or like taking a moment, you know, and also setting boundaries with friends, because I'm like, I have some friends who are very sensitive, and sometimes my words can be a little jarring. So I need to tell them like, hey, I understand that you're sensitive, but just know that that means I'm not going to tell you everything that I'm thinking then, because I know it's not going to go over well. And on the flip side, you can't be hurt by this feeling of you're not telling me everything. It's like, yeah, I'm not telling you everything because I know I'm going to hurt your feelings, and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. So we just have to be okay with not saying everything all the time.
That's awesome. You're giving them the opportunity to like accept the fact that you're giving them their truth, but not the whole truth.
Yeah, like I don't want to be mean. You know, it's like I want to make sure that what I'm saying has intentionality and it's going to be useful, and is it like what they need to hear right now. And that's another big part of it. It's like just shutting up. Like sometimes you don't need to say anything.
Yeah, your silence speaks louder. Dang, I like that one a lot. Dang. Okay, we're gonna start calling her right now. Okay, but just some quick fun facts about you. What was your favorite meal growing up?
Meal?
Yeah.
My mom used to make this pollo con crema.
Okay.
I was obsessed with that shit, dude. Every time she'd make it, I'd like eat that shit up. Yeah, pollo con crema.
Do you love how the new generation is saying like you ate that up?
Yeah.
One of my students was like, Marvin, you ate that, and I was like, what did I eat? I was so confused.
You know, I don't hear that as often. I hear more like you left no crumbs.
That one also confused me. I was like, what did I eat?
Because you ate and left no crumbs.
What if it was like a not sandwich? Like there's no like I don't know. Anyways,
Marvin, you can't be like painfully millennial either.
Painfully millennial. I hate you so much. Favorite type of music growing up?
Favorite music growing up? Probably K-pop.
K-pop?
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Oh, that's right. Forgot you were that. Yeah.
I had like a big K-pop phase. When I think about it too, I'm like, did people know? Like, did I make that like a big part of my personality?
Not growing up. I started seeing it more like maybe 5 years ago. Recently.
Okay, that's so interesting because like in high school, like 2010, when I would go home, I would be like typing up music videos, and that's all I would listen to.
Really?
Yeah.
No idea.
So that's so interesting. I was like, yeah, but I guess people didn't really know. But I was, a really big K-pop kid.
You're very true yourself, and I love that. K-pop kid. Are you still K-pop kid? K-pop kid?
Not as strong as I was, I would say, during the pandemic or when I was in high school. Now I'm very much just like an adult who appreciates
art.
Yeah. I'm an adult who appreciates the art of K-pop, and I'll always be a fan, but I don't get invested in like the fandoms as much anymore.
Okay. Where is the next place you want to go to traveling wise?
The next place I want to go to, I would love to go see Portugal.
Okay. That'd be dope. Why is that?
I just think it's pretty, and you know, I had a brief moment where I was like, oh, El Camino de Santiago. I was like, but then everyone's like, it's really white. It's a really white thing to do. And I'm like, you're actually so right, and I fucking hate that. So let me not go do that. But I would still love to see Portugal.
Do it. Send it. Full send.
Oh, also Croatia.
Okay.
Yeah, Pinterest recently fed me Croatia content, and I was like, I didn't know Croatia was this pretty.
Yeah.
Let's go to Croatia.
Country. Yeah.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Oh, when did you go to Croatia?
Back in college. I went for...
What?
Well, it wasn't a fun trip. It was, let me rephrase. It was a class, and we were learning about the Holocaust.
Oh.
And so it was a very like educational trip for 3 weeks. We went to Germany, Poland, Austria, the Czech Republic, and Croatia.
Damn.
Yeah, it was very somber. Very, obviously, appropriately somber. Okay. If you get the chance to interview someone like this, who would you interview?
Probably my brother.
Really?
I want to see what he would have to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll bring him on next time. That's your last question.
Okay.
So obviously, the idea behind this podcast is to create memories that you want to pass on to the next generation. Is there a memory that you know for sure that you want to pass on to future generations when they watch this and knows about you?
A memory.
Memory of you, memory of somebody else, a memory that you want people to relate to you.
Can you repeat it one more time?
Yeah, of course.
Let me think about it.
Can you think of a memory that you want to pass on to the next generation? Because hopefully this will be viewed by your nieces, nephews, children down the road, friends down the road, that you want this memory to be associated with you, with Erick. It can be your memory. It could be a memory of someone else that you've heard. Yeah, it can be anything at all. And don't worry. In the event that you have, we'll do this again sometime. Again.
Yeah.
So if you have a different memory that comes up down the road, we'll have 2 memories of you.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. It's like... That's like silly. Hold on. I don't know if I want to do that.
No worries. Do your thing. I mean, you already shared a lot earlier.
Yeah.
So we have a full memories of you. But one last memory you want to share of you.
Okay. I think it's like a pretty recent memory. It's actually from the summer. I was in Mexico City and we did a tour on Xochimilco. And girl, I was like blacked out by the end of it. But I think what I would want people to remember about that experience, or that I would want to share about that experience, is that even though I was blacked out, I remember I was told that I still tipped our tour guide. I managed, but so before the tour, I had also ordered 2 handmade bracelets with like an old man who was like by the boats. I went up to the man and got my bracelets and paid him. I got me and my friends our Uber because I was the only one who spoke Spanish in that group. I yacked 4 different times on that Uber back home.
Nice.
But I was front seat still talking to the Uber driver in Spanish because me and my other friend were also, like, he was also blacked out. But I had us pull over 4 different times and we made it home safely. So it's like we're a fun time, but we make sure everyone's still okay. Which I think truly sums up a lot of like my 20s. Yeah, it's very much the responsible person in the group.
Heck yeah.
But we were having a lot of fun doing it.
That's an awesome story. Thank you for sharing it. Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, dude, just want to thank you again for stopping by and just sharing memories and just overall helping me just learn more about you too.
Yeah,
I learned a lot about you. And this won't be the last time we do this. We'll do this for sure next time. But just want to thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Barman.
Of course. That being said, let's cut it.